Damn, I hate to go psycho. I'm on a bad Michael. Can't really trust nobody with all this jewelry on.
The state of Delaware is known for quite a few things. One of those things being that it was the first ever state in the history of the United States. But let's be real, the reason most of us racing fans know this state is because of the Monster Mile, Dover International Speedway. Opening in 1969, this track has seen a lot of changes over the years, and we've had a lot of memorable moments to go with it. We've seen one of the greatest saves of all time by one of the greatest drivers of all time.
The wall off the wall, keep it off the wall. That is amazing. You can't do that here. I have never seen that done here.
We've seen some of the most spectacular wrecks ever in NASCAR history on this track. And we were all witnesses to one of the most emotional moments in NASCAR history.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to lead 193 of 400 laps. The American and checkered flags out at Dover. Earnhardt Jr. wins.
Throughout the years, Dover has maintained its reputation for being one of the most difficult tracks on the NASCAR circuit. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Fiasco, and today I'm going to walk you through a brief history of Dover International Speedway, along with what it's like to drive this track on iRacing. And at the very end of the video, I'm going to give you my predictions for tomorrow's NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series race. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Construction for Dover Downs International Speedway began in 1966, and it was specialized for auto and horse racing, and it was opened in 1969. This one-miler played host to at least 2 NASCAR races each year, USAC, and even the Verizon IndyCar Series. The inaugural race was in July 1969, and it was the Mason-Dixon 300, and that race was won by none other than the King, Richard Petty. In 1971, just 2 years after opening, Dover wanted to put more of a focus on the 2 NASCAR Cup races, which were both 500 miles long. The Speedway removed all events that were not sanctioned by NASCAR. In 1982, Dover Downs added an Xfinity Series race. In 1986, they added the second Xfinity race. Dover Downs was actually an asphalt track from the time it opened in 1969 until the surface was replaced with concrete in 1995. With that resurface, Dover Downs became only the second NASCAR Cup Series track to feature a racing surface completely composed of concrete, the other one being Bristol Motor Speedway. In the fall of 1997, the NASCAR Cup races were changed to 400 miles in length. In 1998, the Speedway added the Verizon IndyCar Series to the schedule, but these races were removed after the 1999 season. In 2000, the NASCAR trucks made their way to the Speedway, and that inaugural race was won by 2004 Cup Series champion Kurt Busch. In 2002, the capacity of the Speedway was expanded to 135,000 seats, and that made Dover Downs the largest sports stadium in the Mid-Atlantic. The Speedway was renamed to Dover International Speedway in 2002 after the gaming side of Dover Downs separated. In 2004, the Monster Bridge over Turn 3 was completed. The bridge is a glass-enclosed structure that has 56 seats. In 2006, Dover announced a multi-year improvement project called the Monster Makeover. This makeover included a new skybox complex, a 2,100 square foot addition to the media center in the infield, new walkways behind the grandstands, renovated and improved restrooms, parking areas, bus parking, and a new sound system for the grandstands. After the 2014 AAA 400, Dover began removing 17,500 seats in turns 2 and 3 due to declining attendance. The current capacity just sits at 85,000 seats. 7-time series champion Jimmie Johnson currently holds the record for most wins at Dover, with 11 wins at the Monster Mile. Now that we've covered the basic history of Dover International Speedway, let's hop on this track for ourselves and see what makes it so difficult. First off, we will be driving in the Xfinity car, and then we'll hop in Cup. So here we are in the Ford Mustang for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, about to do a hot lap here at Dover International Speedway. And one of the main things that makes this track so difficult is the concrete. It feels like you're driving on beach balls for the most part. So it's basically a Bristol on steroids, and you drive it the same way. Cut down deep into turn 1, let it float in the middle of the corner, cut down to turn 2, and you do the exact same thing for turns 3 and 4. Deep into 3, let it float and cut down into turn 4 for a double apex. And that is a lap around Dover. Turns 3 and 4 is a little slower, so you need to be careful or else you're going to hit the wall. Let's go over to the Cup Series car, and what makes this even more difficult is the fact that there is so much more horsepower in this car. It's really easy to lose it off the corners here if you're too jumpy on the throttle. Drive it the same way. You might not be able to get it all the way down onto the apron there, but it's a-okay. Still cut down for that double apex. It keeps you off of the wall much easier. And we're coming in for turn 3, diving in deep, letting it float a little bit into quarter, letting it settle, and then cutting down for turn 4 for that double apex. As we come off of turn 4, we're getting sideways, almost hitting that wall, and we get to see on the replay just how close we are. Really pushing the limits of this track. We did not touch the wall. We got really lucky there, and that is a lap around Dover and Cup. Now I'm going to give you guys my prediction for this weekend's race at Dover for the Monster Energy Cup Series. In my opinion, it is a little silly to try and give predictions in motorsports because there are so many variables. There's so many different things that can happen on track. You never know what can happen in NASCAR, but it's fun to do it nevertheless. So my pick for this weekend, he showed he was willing to put anything on the line to break that winless streak. He has 11 wins at this track. He actually got his last win at this track, and I think he breaks it this week. This weekend's winner at Dover is going to be the number 48 of Jimmie Johnson. Now I do hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought. I would like to make this a weekly thing, probably do it for every track if I can. And I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.